right, guys, we're going to get ready to make our woven pouch now. So for supplies, you are going to need some string to do your warp strings with. Warp strings are the ones that run up and down the loom, and we don't see them anymore after we finish because they're like the skeletal system of our weaving project. And you're going to need a marker, pair of scissors, roll of tape, a ruler, and a pencil. Also, I already have pre-cut a box for you into the right size for your pouch. Everybody's is going to be the same size, but you may have different pieces of cardboard from, say, cereal boxes or drink containers or Pop-Tarts or whatever we were able to scrounge up. So those pre-cut papers, lay them down so that they are tall on your table. And you're going to take your ruler and you're going to line up whatever type ruler you have. You always want to make sure you have the 0 at the edge of the cardboard. Okay, so see about this much distance, maybe about the width, maybe about 1/4 of an inch down from the top. So we're going to talk about that for a minute before we start. All right, here's 1 inch. And you know, within $1, how many quarters do you have? You get 4. So 4 quarters to $1, 1/4 of an inch. We're going to find 1, 2, 3, 4 of the longest lines within that inch. So again, you're looking for the 0 to be on the cardboard. You're going to look for the halfway between 1/2 of an inch to the 0. That's where you'll find the first mark. So I'm going to be making a mark there at 1/2 an inch, at 3/4 of an inch, and at 1 inch. So that gives you 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces out of 1 inch, just like 4 quarters in $1. All right, all the way across the ruler, we're marking those same spots. And when you get to the edge, that's the last one you have to make, because the next 1/4 of an inch would be here on the edge. Okay, so that's one side marked. Now we're going to flip it around, and we have to do this process one more time. So I've come down about 1/4 of an inch from the top, maybe just a little bit longer. I lined up my 0, and I'm going to begin marking again up the cardboard to the top 4 times within 1 inch. I'm marking every quarter, 1/4 of an inch, all the way across. Okay, so now I have marks on this side and marks here. All right, now here's where your scissors come into play, and you're going to need to make a cut and stop right at the pencil end. So like you want to cut the whole mark of the pencil to where the ruler was. So you're cutting the whole pencil mark that you made from the edge to that spot, and you need to stop. You don't want it to be deeper on one and shorter on another. You want them to all be about the same length. So we are going to go all the way down the line. That one was a little tiny bit off, but not much to worry about. Just go slow and try to make sure that you're cutting right on the line and that you stop when you get to the end of the pencil line. Okay, that's really important. Okay, now you have teeth marked across the top and trimmed. So now we're going to turn to this side. Now when I made these marks, I didn't come all the way to the edge, but that's okay because I can eye it, or if you had to, just lay it back down and finish your mark to the edge to help you know where to cut. So just in case that happens to you, that's what I would do to make sure I'm cutting in the right place. All right, again, we're going to cut carefully, slowly, and stop at the end of the pencil line all the way down. You want to have a really good loom. Ooh, see, I'm off just a hair right there, but it'll be okay as long as it's very close to where it should have been. All right, now, so I've got teeth cut at the top, teeth cut at the bottom, and now this loom, unlike the other looms we've used in the past, it's going to be disposable. So when we finish, we're going to be throwing this away. So I want you to take your marker and please write your first and last name on the loom before you start to warp it. Please put your class period. So if I was in first period, I'd put a 1 and you put a circle around it. Okay, I need it to be on the side that doesn't have any print. It would be really hard for me to find your name on here, so make sure you put it on the plain side. All right, we're going to move our pencil and marker out of the way. We're done with that, and we don't need the ruler. So now we're going to be bringing in the tape and the string. All right, this is going to be a little tricky, so I need you to pay close attention. And obviously, since it's a video, you're welcome at any time to hit the pause button and rewind, and I will repeat for you however many times you need me to say it, okay? So, we are going to tape this string down now. I'm just thinking, I'm fixing to cover up my name, aren't I? Maybe that wasn't really smart. But there's always a solution. So I'm just going to do this to fix it. No problem. All right, so I've got it taped down on a diagonal. I'm pressing it so it stays in nice and tight. Warp strings need to be pulled tight, but this loom is going to be a little different than the thick ones that we've used before because it's not quite as thick of a piece of cardboard. So when you pull that string through, make sure it's nice and tight. Turn it back to this side. Now, you're going to bring it to the bottom tooth. Okay. We're going to wrap around this tooth and bring it back to the top. Okay. Now, we wrapped around the next tooth and bring it back to the bottom. This is wrong. Okay, so we're pulling it nice and tight, bringing it back around to the other side, down to the bottom, back up to the top at the same exact spot. Okay, so the string started on the back, came down to the bottom, back around to the back, and back out at the same slot at the top. Okay, now I'm going to take this string this time and go across. Okay, so it moved across to the next tooth, and now it's going to wrap down to the bottom, pull it tight, back to the front we go, back to the same exact spot again. All right, so we're at the top. We want to keep these lines straight on both sides. So we're going to wrap around the tooth at the top, back down to the bottom. This is the bottom of our loom. And you're going to start noticing a pattern. On the bottom, we just go back to the top. On the top, we wrap around the teeth. So we're at the bottom. We're going back to the top. Okay, we want to keep it nice and tight, but we don't want to pull it so tight that it does this. Okay, we don't want to bow it. All right, now we're at the top. We've got to go to the bottom and see if I just pull it straight down. That's not going to be correct. It's not straight. So I'm going to wrap it around this tooth and back down to the bottom. I'm at the bottom of the loom, so I'm going back up straight to the top. Okay, when I get to the top, I'm wrapping around. Pull a little more string. I'm at the top. I pull straight to the bottom. I'm at the bottom. I can go straight to the top. Okay. Now I'm going to wrap a tooth down, wrap back up. So I keep continuing this process. I'm at the top, so I wrapped around. I'm back at the bottom. I go back to the top. So my lines are not, stop every once in a while and check it. They're staying straight. Every other one has a piece going across. And when I flip this over, every other one has a piece going across. And these are straight up and down. Okay, so I'm at the top. Wrap around, pull it tight, go to the bottom, back to the top. Okay. Making sure you keep all of these nice and tight is really important. Tight, but not so tight that it bows. Okay, let's see, I gotta go down, back to the top, wrap it, to the bottom, back to the top, wrap it, back up to the top, on the other side now, and I'm wrapping, back to the bottom, back to the top, wrap it around. All right, we're at the end. I'm to the bottom and back to the top, and that's where I'm going to stop. Okay, so if you look on this side and double check, every one of these strings is going straight from top to bottom, and it formed a pattern. A, B, A, B, A, B. See? Repeated across the top. So every other one has a wrap. At the bottom, there are no wraps. So I'm going to flip it over and double check this side. They're straight up and down, okay? They are wrapped around every other one, and this is the last tooth any string could go through. Now what you should do is if you're checking it and you see where you missed a spot or something's going diagonal and it shouldn't be, or maybe you didn't pull it tight enough and it's looped down right here, any of those problems, you would need to back out your string and redo it to the point where there was a problem. Okay, so let's say my problem was right there. Now I can start over, come back to the top, wrap. It's better to go ahead and fix it than to have to take the entire thing apart. So anytime you see a mistake, don't worry about it. Just back it out to the spot. Rewind my video so you can watch me do it again and see where you're messing up. Because you want these to be nice and straight and tight. These should be the same. The cardboard should not be warped, okay? And on the back, the same thing should happen. Okay, the last step, so once you know you've got it right, you're going to trim this off. And you're going to tape this down, and you know you've done it right when you're on the same side taping. All right, this is a little bit confusing. I'm having to pick up and go underneath to get it taped to the cardboard, but it'll work. Okay, so I'm going to slide this tape under. Strings are wanting to be a pain. All right, I'm taping this down nice and tight. If you're worried about reading your name, you can always move these guys over and trace it. Okay, so it's all set now. You've got it nice and taped down tight. On this side, your strings are straight. You have a Ziploc bag where all your supplies go. That's where this needs to go until you are ready to start weaving, okay? So remember, if you have any questions, you can always back the video up and watch it again to the part where you're confused, or take your string back out, and so you can rewarp it and get it exactly right. It may take you a couple of times, so that's okay. No problem.